So we have understood what is a module and we have clearly seen how do we create our simple own module, right? That's where we have understood the difference between normal Python file and how do we create our own module and the difference in the special variable main name, right? So whenever it is a normal Python file, the name is stored as main. But when we use the keyword import and automatically the main will be replaced with our module name. That's a very simple definition, right? Now, we'll understand the importance of how do we create our multiple functions and how can we use our module to convert to extract the information from all those functions, because that's where not only Python programming, any programming language starting with C programming, which has made the hierarchy level, which has made the interaction between a computer and a human being much more volatile and much more better. That's where we have started with Fortran, Pascal, and then we have entered into understanding of high-level languages where even C, Java, Python, they all stand in top places depending on application. So always I suggest don't ever run for the demand, only take the need. Whatever programming language you choose, so try to excel in that by understanding the structured programming concept. What do you mean by structured programming? Basically, what is the purpose of any programming? So whenever the purpose of programming is to solve the problems related to versatile areas, right? Whether it is understanding with solving of simple addition of two numbers and to very complex problems like designing engine of an aircraft, any problem solved engine of aircraft and scientific, whatever it is, any problem can be solved through programming. That's what not only C is mainly for embedded building of kernel operating systems, and that's where C is playing a vital role till now. And then if you go for Java, complete development of mobile apps and web application, it's very well Java is used. If you see, without mobile phone we can't stay, right? Our daily needs have been taken with mobile phone. And then came Python, not only before Java, because it came before Java, but now you see the importance of data, what made Python versatile, right? That's where generally what does programmers will do? A programmer will take a complex task and he'll try to challenge that task. He try to solve the task by dividing it into multiple subtasks, right? Then he use some main task to execute that. That's where he can accomplish the same task multiple times. If you can clearly understand, we are relating the same concept to functions and modules. Similarly, in a module, what do? You try to create, because you try to make your functionality divided into subtasks. That's where we see it as modules. So now we'll create multiple functions, and I'll be taking a very simple example of to calculate my salary. I mean employee salary. It depends upon generally if you see MNCs and startups, then startups do pay generally depending on their work hour. But if you go for MNCs and any tier 1, tier 2 based companies, we have some PFs and income tax, house rent allowance, whether it is government or private, you have some stages, right? So we will create a Python file to calculate the employee salary, and we'll understand how does a module can be created with that. Okay, because it makes development faster, right? That's where instead of manually calculating, we can use such thing. Okay, we are good to go with that. So I'll be using same Python ideally, where I'll not use the same file because I'll be just closing it. I want to create a new file. So I just click on new and I'll save this file name as employee. That's where I would like to store my employee details, right? So to store my employee salary details or to calculate employee salary details. One simple Python file where I'll be giving multiple functions. You can go for any of the functions. I'll be using some well-defined terms in payment methods like dearance allowance, house rent allowance, provident fund, income tax. You have other things like insurance, what not. But my intention is to create multiple functions. And how do we access those multiple functions from a module? Then we will relate the same concepts to understanding built-in modules like math, system module, OS module, random module, and so on, right? So first let me create a function to calculate dearance allowance. Dearance allowance. So that is for creating the first function. So I name the function as DA and I give an argument called as basic, because you have the basic salary is different, gross salary is different, net is different. These terminologies may be new to you. If you have any brother or sister working in corporate industry, they may relate it. If you're already working, it's fine. You can relate the terms. Basic salary is different, gross salary is different, net salary is different. So in this kind of particular program, I just wanted to relate you those terminologies. So here, what is the doc string I can give? My doc string is DA is 80% of basic salary. No one will give in that way, but I'm just giving some simple terminologies. Okay, so I give DA is equal to basic, sorry, let me write in next line. So DA is equal to basic into, what do you need to do? 80 by 100. Okay, then obviously what do you need to do? Return DA, right? So return DA, that is my first function. My next function is to calculate, I'll write shortcuts, house rent allowance. So again I create a function name called as HRA and I pass the argument as basic and I give the doc string as HRA is 50%, 50% of basic salary, where it will be added to the basic salary. Based on that, basic salary will be increased. Basic is some 10,000 and if you go for adding this, that becomes gross, and based on deductions, that becomes net. That is your take home. Okay, so you'll relate these terms when you enter into corporate style. So basically it's fine. If you don't understand, you need to understand the programming terminology here, not the technical, not the industrial terminology which we need. It's fine. So return HRA, because there is nothing like we don't know in this. We just know everything, right? Because everyone is a continuous learner. Just believe that philosophy, everything will go ahead. So to calculate, so the first thing I have given dearance allowance and the second thing house rent allowance, and now I want to calculate provident fund amount. So provident fund amount, and then I define my function name as PF, and this is also being taken with basic. I'll relate my PF as, so PF is around 12% I can take. It depends, it varies from company to company and it varies from government organization. So it's central or state, it depends. Basic salary, because every problem is solved by programming, you can relate it. It's not that only software people, only CSE or IT people should relate this. No, it's not. That world has changed. Anyone can pave their journey into Python. Always believe it's just logical thinking. That's fine. Return PF. So we have created 3 functions and I'll be creating one more function. If you want, you can create multiple functions. So finally, what do? I want to calculate income tax, which is payable by employee. We need not discuss much thing on this. You know the situations, right? So just not discuss much things on income tax, and it depends. Right? So my function name is, I'll relate as iTax, and income tax is not being calculated on the basic salary, it is calculated on the gross salary, because whatever the facilities allowances are added, so based on that it will be calculated, it will be deducted. So tax is calculated at 10% based on slabs of salary. Tax deduction is different. That's where you see financial budget. You see recently the budget has been announced and you see so many differences over there. Will not relate much things in that, it's fine. So income tax is on basically gross into 10 by 100 or 0.1, whatever you give, 10 by 100, and you can return income tax, right? Good to go. So we have created 4 functions: DA, HRA, PF, income tax. Save. It's fine. So now we'll save it. And what do we need to do? Open a new script and you just import. What do you need to import? You need to use employee module to calculate salaries, because we are not doing we are not calling the same function there itself. If you call the same function there itself, it's not a modularity, right? You are doing some structured programming way, where that's where Python has taken the roots from C and object-oriented concepts, because it follows the procedure and object-oriented and the philosophy of structured, whatnot, everything Python will follow. So we'll be using the same concept here. I'll use my employee file, where I can read it as employee module to calculate gross and net salaries. There you go. So first, if you want to use that, what you need to do? You just need to use a key called as, instead of directly using import, we can directly use our keyword called as from. So from employee, we need to import all the functions, right? All the functions you need not give by directly by writing DA, HRA. You need not do it because you have a shortcut called as star. What does star mean here? You can import multiple functions from a module. If you have multiple functions and you're working on multiple functions, it's fine, you import star. But if you know what are the functions, just only call the function names which we have related in the previous things. Right? In the previous program, we have given import undstnd mod and call the function name display. That's what we have done. And here we have multiple functions. So I'll be giving star over there. Now, I'm giving spaces only to make you understand. You need not make spaces and that will not make you errors. So calculate gross salary to make it easily visible or beautify the visibility. Employee by taking user input from basic salary. By taking basic salary. So I give basic is equal to, I want to make the precise. So I give float of input of, I'll ask the user to enter the basic salary. Whatever the salary user enters, and according to my basic terminology, that's where HR department takes the key role in an organization. So that's where you can just calculate, take input and calculate the gross salary. How do you calculate it? Once you have taken basic salary, you need to use all those functions, right? So just give gross is equal to add basic salary plus, call the functions here, DA of, what is the argument here? Basic, DA of basic plus HRA of basic. You need to add allowances, right? DA of basic plus HRA of basic. Why are you not adding Provident Fund? Because Provident Fund is also deducted at the end and they'll be added to the employee. Okay. So again, you can use any print format. You need not worry that whatever I need to use, you need to use, because we have already discussed so many print methods. So you can use your own way. So gross salary is, I'll be using a very simple format which you already know, that is percentile. I'll be taking percentile 0.2f and you just give percentile of what is the variable name? Gross. There you go. And finally, I want to calculate net salary. How do you calculate net salary? It's simple. You just give the variable net is equal to, you deduct gross from gross, gross minus, you also take PF. So PF of basic minus, call the function. What is other function? Income tax, right? So just make sure you are giving correctly the names. And the good thing is you should save in the same location. I did not save the file till now. I tax of income tax is basically on gross. And again print net salary is. It's up to you. If you want, you can give multiple functions. Net salary is percentile 0.2f and percentile of, make sure that I did not give brace quotation correctly here. Make sure you are giving quotations properly. What is the variable name? Percentile of net. Okay. There you go. Now just make sure you save in same location. Good. We have employee here and I'll save this as any name. I'll give it as ASD. Now the file name is ASD and employee is also in same location. There you go. So when you save and when you start executing this, okay, enter the basic salary. I'll give the basic salary as 15,000. There you go. If the basic salary is 15,000, the gross will be 29,250 depending on allowances we gave. That allowances may not matter same, and the take home salary is this much after all tax deductions. And when you call the directory of it, you can see basic salary of taking input, the functions DA, and gross is the calculation, HRA, income tax, net, PF, whatever we have given, everything is being loaded here. That's what the importance of star is. Even if you don't want to use star, what you need to do? You need to write everything, every function name. That basic thing is not needed. If you have only less number of functions, you can do that, right? What are the functions names? DA, HRA, PF, iTax. You can do that thing also. Let me comment this and execute for you. So when I save and when I execute this, same result I'll give you, 15,000. You see, did you get the same result? It's same. You need not worry. Everything will be same, and when you call directory, you get the same result. So instead of writing all function names, it's better to use star when you're trying to call multiple functions. If you are calling less number of functions, it's fine. But when you're calling multiple functions, the better thing is use star. Star relates for taking multiple functions from a defined module. So here employee is my module, and when I ask help of employee, let's see whether it is providing or not. So help of employee, there you go. Employee is not defined. Why? Because we are running this thing. If you can directly create check help of modules, then you can understand whether it is present or not. So help of modules, there you go. Let's wait for a while. It will give you the list of all available modules, and let's see whether it is present or not. And then you can see how does it relates to the definition of module what we have created. And because already it is created, if it is created only, then we are able to fetch all the results. You need not worry about the warning. It depends. It varies from system to system. It depends only on the type of files we are using. It's fine. So clearly, whenever we have used this employee, we are having multiple functions. In the same way, in our Python file also, we have multiple. In Python built-in modules also, we have multiple files, right? Let's see here, employee, there you go, you have it here. Now you fetch, you will understand. So help of, you see, how does it will give you the result? Name error, that means call it as a string. Then you can clearly understand how does it will fetch you the result. There you go, because it's a name error, right? That's where it has been given. So help of module employee, whatever the hashtag, the comment we gave, and how many functions we are having? 4 functions, and it is the location. So that's where even if you just make sure before executing this also, you can give help of employee. That's the reason I made it wantedly, and I wanted to show you whether we are able to see our module in the built-in modules list or not. That's what you can understand. Whatever module you create, you need not save in root location. It will automatically fetch all these results if they are present in same location. That's where location matters when you are creating module. Just keep in mind, they should be in same location, and depending on your usage, you can call multiple functions from a module. That's where people rely on the programming part, and that's where Python is playing a vital role, because we are trying to divide subtasks, right? We are trying to divide a task into subtasks, and we are using it. So how many number of details you want to give? You can pass so many number of inputs, and here you can make it much more precise. That's where modules play a very vital role in programming.